Sandy, I'm Chase with NetSuite.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
I had the pleasure of meeting Bobby Taylor at a baseball game this past weekend, your
Really?
vice president. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and we actually hit it off pretty well. He actually brought up to me that Duluth Operating Group, which you are the president of, you guys might be trying to transition out of an account management-based system into a sales, more inclusive sales territory management-based.
Yes, we are.
I was just wondering if you might have a few minutes of your time that I could take and ask you a few questions to see if NetSuite might be able to solve some of the problems that you guys are having, and if you could maybe benefit from the product that we have to offer.
Sure, go ahead.
Awesome. Well, I know that you guys have about $48 million in revenue with about an uptick of 3.5% in sales in revenue this past year, and I noticed that your main location, your headquarters, Duluth, is about double the size of all your other ones. Is there perhaps any troubles that you're having in your other three locations, like Nashville or Augusta or Jacksonville, trying to expand them since they are about half the size of your Duluth one?
Yeah, ideally we would like our other locations to be where our Duluth location is at, but we've been having several problems with growing with new clients, and also some of the clients that we've had have dropped us for a variety of reasons, and several inefficiencies.
So what you're saying is that those locations are having a little more trouble than your headquarters of generating and being able to connect with leads and basically close with a lot of them?
Yeah, I just don't think we have the goals in place that we need to have as a company.
Yeah.
We're too separate right now.
So there's basically 4 branches kind of working in a little separately of a direction. They all kind of are running, quote unquote, like a small account management system in each of their locations instead of having one whole.
Pretty much, yeah.
So do you think that in turn leads to a bit of discrepancies and lack of information between your sales teams and your maintenance teams that go in and do cleaning? Like, are they always on the same page? Like, probably more so at your headquarters, because that's where you're going to be most of the time, and you're going to be pushing them, and they're probably going to be having the president over their head is probably pushing them to work a lot harder. And
on some of our other branches, we've had some problems with our maintenance and our other team. Just getting into some things, we've lost inventory, and like I said, we've lost clients, we've lost client leads, and we're not developing enough leads right now in some of our branches.
So do you think that basically what you're saying is that there's a lack of information symmetry across the board, like everyone's kind of all over the place, not all on the same page?
Yeah, and just like I said, we aren't growing like we want to in all of our branches like we are in Duluth.
Mm-hmm. So do you think in a lot of the locations where you're not growing like you are in Duluth that a lot of your clients aren't feeling the necessarily personalized experience that they've been getting at Duluth, which is why it's basically double in size of your 3 other locations?
Yeah, I definitely think there's some unprofessionalism there that is prohibiting us.
So do you think that your account management system currently is barring you from obtaining the organizational goals that DOG is after, and basically pushing those other 3 locations to get where Duluth is at?
I just think it's inefficient, yeah. I mean, like you said, we grew 3.5% last year, but I think that, and a lot of other people agree that we could be growing a lot more if we came together more as a company.
Do you think that the 3.5% would be able to continue on the rate that you're at? Obviously, it's a great number, and you guys are producing great numbers. Do you think if those 3 other locations aren't pushed to the same level where your Duluth headquarters is at, that you'd be able to sustain the current business model that you guys are working at?
Well, you say 3.5% is a great number, but ideally we would like to be at 10%, So
if you could, obviously doubling those other locations to get where your Duluth would be at, which is definitely a feasible goal in my opinion.
So that's really, what we're looking at is bigger growth, and like you said, just trying to figure out some of the problems that are going on in our other branches, and that's why we're looking for a new CRM package.
Do the other locations, do your sales managers and your sales team have the same set of expectations and sales goals that they have to meet with regards to Duluth headquarters, because obviously, we know that they're double in size. Are they still required to meet the same expectations, or do they have, because they're not of the same caliber, they have a little bit more leeway for them to work and a little lower of an expectation?
Well, we set goals, and they're supposed to reach them, but it's hard for us to watch over them like a parent and make sure they're doing everything they need to be doing.
Yes, there definitely needs to be something in the center where everyone can kind of hone in on and then can see where they need to be at.
Exactly.
In branch to branch.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, do you think within the next 10 years you'd be able to continue to run on a sustained business model, like with your account management based system, or are you seeking a more immediate change?
Yeah, we're seeking somewhat of immediate change, just because we fear that with our lack of growing our client base, and some of the problems we're having with inefficiencies throughout the company, that 3.5% uptick, it may go down in the next couple of years. Like you said, we're looking for something that we think will be more sustainable in the long run.
And all of your locations obviously run on a little bit of a different system than your Duluth. Do they maintain their own records and their own basically files and financial sets, or is there one center location that you guys basically keep all those in, or they submit them to you at the end of the quarter?
Well, they actually keep all their own information, and that's been a problem.
Information floating around, definitely not in one place, can definitely bar you guys from not being at the level where you want to be at. Do you think that you've lost a lot of leads and clients due to like we were talking about maintenance and your management team being on a separate page? Do you think that you received a lot of customer backlash and lost revenue due in part to those things? Hasn't pushed you to quite the numbers that you're trying to get after?
Yeah, I definitely think that that's a big part of the problem.
Well, I think that you guys have a lot of room for growth that you can work with, and I think that NetSuite has a lot of benefits that you guys will be able to take advantage of and really push your other 3 locations to probably double to get where your Duluth headquarters is at, and then even more so push your headquarters to get to a level double, maybe even where they're at. One example that I can think of off the top of my head is the leads benefit that NetSuite has to offer. You've talked about losing clients and losing leads and not being able to close on a lot of the sales in those other locations because, like we were saying, information is all over the board. With NetSuite's leads benefit, you're able to concisely compact all of these informations on leads in varying locations, client name, number, when you've contacted them last, be able to identify with your sales team when they need to continue to be in touch with them, be it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, if they're not able to afford it, when they basically need to get back in touch with them. Is that something that you think your 3 other locations and your headquarters will be able to benefit from?
Oh, definitely.
Well, also, I think that there's a lot of benefit to be had in the reporting benefit. I'm sure you guys, like you said, they all kind of run on their own separate branch almost, that there's a lot of inventory loss, sales orders and invoices can go missing, and then numbers and money from there can just go astray now.
That's been a problem for us.
The reporting benefit on NetSuite allows you to concisely keep all of that together, not just by branch. It allows you to keep it together as an organization so you can see as a whole what you're ordering, where you're ordering it from, and keeping it all together really allow you to keep your expenses on a more tight budget.
Okay.
And also, I think that the activities tab is one of the biggest benefits that DOG would probably be able to benefit from, because you talked about losing clients, missing appointments, and your maintenance team just being on a totally separate page, and even branches just being on a separate page. With the activities benefit, you'd be able to put all of these together and comprise them so that you would never have to miss an appointment, you would never have to miss a client's call, miss a lead's call. Basically keeps you on track all the time of where, and it basically takes the weight off of your shoulders of having to tell people. They will know because they'll be having this CRM package NetSuite has to offer right in front of them
Yeah.
at the access on their phone, tablet, computer, wherever. Even your maintenance team would be able to have access to it. I really think that's something that you guys would be able to benefit from. Do you think that it would be able to push those companies to work even harder and expand even more?
Yeah, I think that'd be a serious advantage to, looking into a new CRM packages is having that
Definitely.
sort of capability.
Well, how soon do you think you guys are trying to transition out of your account management system?
Well, we'd like to do it maybe today. As far as price goes, you told us a lot about everything that NetSuite does, and we're very interested in NetSuite. But as far as price, like, what are we looking at?
Probably to implement and have the system for an annual fee of probably $150,000 for each of your branches. So it's basically $600,000 for the entire company across the board. Sounds like a lot of money with $48.5 million coming in, though. The money that you would take from implementing this package would allow you to double your 3 branches outside of your headquarters and push your headquarters to grow even more, where the majority of your revenue, I'm sure, is coming in from. And by pushing those other 3 locations to grow even more, I could see your revenues pushing $60 million in the next year.
Okay. And with some of the companies that have implemented NetSuite, have they been able to open up new branches?
My 43 clients that I have not had any problems implementing and expanding because they've more than so achieved their revenue goals that we'd set initially when we'd implemented NetSuite. They've achieved their clientele goals and continue to expand and grow.
And you haven't had one problem with one of your clients with this?
They definitely have some problems because implementing a new technology like that, a lot of people are going to struggle and not be on the same curve necessarily.
Yeah, as far as training.
So basically you're probably going to have to give about 2 days of just a whole day of training to them, which sounds like a lot of money lost and a lot of revenue that you could be gaining during those 2 days.
Some of the other ones I've talked to, it's been 2 weeks of training.
Yeah, so I mean, like, on the scale of things, like, I learned it in honestly a day, and I was able to retain all the information, and I can run the ins and outs of it. Obviously, I work with it every day, but I still have clients that call me and might have an issue with something, and I don't have a problem walking them through any of the tabs or any of the benefits that NetSuite has to offer, and basically making sure that they can be on the same page as the whole company and trying to get to where the organization's goals need to be.
Okay. And if we do have any problems, we can contact you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, you know what? After hearing it through, I think that we're going to make a deal today.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great, Sandy. I'd love to get my papers out, and then we can sign some.
All right. Sounds good.